Omri, and as I mentioned on Twitter last night, or maybe it was yesterday afternoon, I don't really remember. I was gonna work on my, stop doing that so you don't get dizzy. Work on my celebration art for finishing trace memory, and might not like start doing the sketches right away, but I'm gonna do something more exciting. Do the colors. That's usually how I start. So I'm just gonna take some colors from that's very red. For some like the screenshots, like the game manual. And I get to talk about color theory, which is like one of my favorite things. So, should probably first thing mention that the reason I have like a gray background is because well, obviously there's like a lot of light colors in trace memory. Ashley's hair is white and Daniel's also white. So a light gray is easier to see. Also, I think the gray makes the colors pop more, so I can see more the difference in the colors, like how they relate to each other. And because one thing that I think about a lot, especially with color theory, is that colors are vampires, which means that they're all relative to each other. So any color can work with any color, but each color affects the way you see it. So I do that. So that's the blue of the sky, right there. And then I put actually I'm like 2 or 3 little squares of sky. Put that up there for reference. And I put like Ashley's sleeve in this one. Okay. And then I put Daniel's chest in this one. Like that already looks that like actually that color looks exactly like the other screenshot of him. Like it looks more green because it's surrounded by a very blue color. Uh Basically what I mean by vampires is that a color around another color will suck that quality of that color out of it. I'll see if I can actually demonstrate that better by having red block that hurts my eyes, having that blue. I actually do with that a little bit. Okay, the light blue. Then I'll try it with the brown. It's kind of hard to see on a computer screen. So maybe this is the best place for this little lecture, but if you like isolate each one, that, and that, and that, they'll appear like slightly different colors, even though they're exact same colors. And you can make, what's a better way to do? Okay, I can make this red look less red by having a more saturated red next to it. See, like immediately, like up here, that's really bright red. But next to it, even brighter red, because the brighter red is more saturated. It's sucking out the red from this red. And thus making the color around it less red. So it's also good for the vampire metaphor. It's less red now. It sucked the red out. I'll do that with blue also. This blue is a pretty saturated blue, but if I like turn it all the way up, that blue looks a little grayer, and maybe if I like even go down the color wheel, it's going to start looking a little green. And that's because relative to this blue, it is green. I hope that makes sense. I can go more into detail with that later. That was just something I was excited to talk about. No, not print. So for trace memory, I really wanted to focus on, like, there's a lot of gray, but I kind of want to focus on yellow. Because yellow, kind of like a nostalgic color. Not always, but like it, in like film and stuff it is. You use it, you'll see it even in the flashback with like Tiny Ashley. They use like a ray of yellow. And that's just not just because sunlight, but because I think across cultures it's been shown to people associate it with nostalgic memories and things like that. And I feel like having, I'll also try to find the link to the coloring brush I'm using. It's very good for mixing. I have to make sure I have the right setting. Okay. I do like the way this brown comes in. Because it's nostalgic. There's also a lot of like industrial stuff. Like architecture, like the mansion's very like old. So I want, and it's like obviously the lab's very full of machinery, so I want the yellow. Actually, the yellow probably doesn't even need to be that saturated. I'm gonna make this a little bit lighter. I'm just sort of laying out a possibility of where they're gonna go. This isn't like, I haven't started the picture yet. I'm just testing things out. Right? Because there's like these cold greens and blues. And I think what I want to do with that, maybe, oh, that's too green. Maybe use like a less saturated blue or like dark blue. Just seeing how the colors work together. Yeah, because actually, I think this color right here, if you can, I don't know if you can see my cursor or not. But this color kind of really muted, earthy tone. It looks a lot like a lot of the backgrounds are very muted. And then I can get like that. There's like 3 colors here. There's this one, like this gray, this brown, and there's just like this gray blue, and then there's this blue. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. I might maybe blend this in a little bit. I'll get like a, I think this one's too red. I think that's what's maybe bothering me. I'm gonna change that. Nope, it's too much. Actually, I'm just gonna mix it with this one and see what I get. That I think also in VtubeStudio you can turn your eyedropper tool to like automatically mix colors as it picks things up based on like radius. That could be helpful. So that, yeah, that's probably gonna be the background colors. It's very muted, and I also want Ashley to stand out more. I'm also gonna try to keep the background somewhat dark. Maybe I'll do like black here. Maybe mix it in with all of these colors so these get darker. Okay. I got a bunch of colors to work with already. And I'm gonna maybe tone down the black with a little bit brown. Okay. Yeah, that works for like a background. I'm not really sure how I'm going to move this. I'll move it here. Like a sort of natural, but muted, kind of rusty. And I think of like old architecture, old iron and stuff like that. When I kind of look at that, I think that'll be good. And then you have partially white, or at least she has the white shirt and the white hair, so white's gonna be pretty predominant. And I would say Daniel here is like an off-white, so he's gonna compliment Ashley, but in a really subtle way. Like those are gonna look very similar. I'm gonna have this branch off. Actually, I'm gonna make the green. I'm gonna choose the green. I think the blue is a bit more accurate to the game color. I'm gonna choose green to start with, and then I'm going to. Okay, we have. It's like kind of the colors he's going with. There's obviously the really dark shadows, and I don't want to get rid of those. I want to keep those in the drawing that I do. I do want to get those like really harsh shadows because that's very stylistic of the game. You also have like a and I'm gonna kind of bring these colors back into a more saturated blue. Because if I mix that back, I don't want it to be like sky blue. I still kind of want him to look a little bit like misty because he is a ghost. Oh, okay. Yeah, I can see that. And then I'll have a little bit of black. And then I don't know, get rid of Ashley's white there so I can see a little better. Oh, actually, the scan of this, because I found a game manual and I downloaded that. That's where these pictures are from. The colors are slightly off, and I kind of like it. Like I like the way how they're off. So we got black, and we got like a kind of brownish purple for the shadows. And then that is Daniel. Put him over here. Ooh, it's black. Erase this. Most of it. Still kind of want to use that yellow for something. I hope this is interesting to see my art process. I do really love color theory. Like a lot. Like it's one of my favorite things. Even if I'm not the best at it. And I like talking about it. So I'm really happy to be doing this. So we have the yellow, the nostalgic yellow. And what's interesting is that like if Ashley's red, right? And Jessica's like orange, that's yellow's a good like uniform color in between that. I think I'm not gonna focus too much on the later. I'm gonna focus more on like the setup of the game and the drawing. So like Richard and Bill and the whole Edwards family probably aren't gonna make a huge appearance. And there's also I do like this brown, so I'm gonna add that in there. yeah, the later part of the game isn't going to be super focused on them. Let me get that gray. Let's say a very blue gray. Oh. Skin color. So I am just sort of focusing on making a palette for both, for these three characters, basically. Okay, I'm gonna do the white of the shirt with the gray and a little bit of brown. And then Jessica is, as in like reverse to that, has orange. And I would say instead of white, it's more of her skin color that pops out. So I do a pinkish peaches color. And then red for Ashley. I'm going to take this and I'm going to mix it with the red. I'm actually going to, maybe if I want like a sweeter, lighter pink for Ashley, just because I think it's a youthful color to have, and I think it sort of represents her. So I want a little bit of pink in there. Yeah. Oh, I should get her skin tone. Actually, make that a bit more saturated. Just a teeny bit. Yeah, okay. And then I'm going to use the black color again for her because she does have those harsh shadows. I think, yeah, maybe I'll also use the faded red scan to make that red stand out a little bit more. Actually, I have like 3 different reds here. And then like a darker red. I'm going to take from her hair and then expand on that. Oh, it's the exact same gray as the background color. So I'm going to put that here so I can actually see it. Yeah, I'm happy with Ashley's colors. I'm gonna move that over there. And Jessica, she's not going to be like the forefront of the image. It's basically going to be Ashley and Daniel. So she's not going to have too much detail. Just enough to sort of give her own distinct look. For that, I think maybe like a little bit grayer of a black. A little bit darker than that. And orange of her hair is a bit different than her shirt, so I'm going to get that in there. Then I'm going to erase. I'm going to turn the stabilization down so I can erase normal. Erase normal. Okay. So. I have like this for the background. This for Daniel. This for Ashley. This for Jessica. Right. And I do think the yellow that I did pick out is sort of a nice in between of all of them. It's not super saturated, so it can technically go with any of them. So like for Daniel, this yellow might look a little bit greener. I'm actually gonna make the yellow a bit brighter, I think. There we go. So a little bit of green yellow. Then obviously for just gotta be a little bit orange. Mm-hmm. And then for Ashley, of course, it's gonna have like a reddish tint to it. And aside from like mixing like manually, you can just like go down on the little slider yourself. That actually might give you richer colors. I'm actually gonna make this a little bit more desaturated to stand out from Ashley a little bit more. And then I'm going to push that a little bit more red. That's too pink. Okay, it needs a little bit more red than that. Oh. Actually, now I'm seeing it all together. I like that. I like that combination. I'm just gonna erase this. I'm gonna make the rectangle because that's easier to select things. I make it big so I can see everything. Fit it on the screen. There we go. Okay. I'm also gonna try it with a white background. It's not exactly what I wanted you to do. White. And then I'm going to try it with a black one. There. Still opposite. Yeah, I think I'm happy with these colors. Because their game has like a pretty natural muted palette, but there are some pretty striking colors in there. I mean, it's pretty complicated. I probably could do with less colors, but I think I'm happy with that. Thank you for joining me. I hope you learned something. See you next time.